Alright, so since I messed up my last one, we're going to be installing this one, which is another new one. Alright, so we're going to start off by turning the steering wheel all the way to the right. And as you can see right there, it recommends that go to the right, not to the left, because the left is where it ends. That was my mistake last time. I had it centered when I installed it, so it broke. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it all the way to the right. This also all the way to the right, and you guys can see they're almost in the same exact spot, halfway. So we want to do that to max it out, because this is where it maxes out, and we're not going to max out the steering wheel more than this or more than this, because that's all the cable we got. And then when we go to the left maxed out, it should even out, because I guess it doesn't like me turning left, you know. But you know, how often do you turn left? Regardless of the fact, we're going to take this guy out again. You already know what it is. 2 screws right here, 1, and then 2, and then the airbag comes out. So I'm going to take out those 2 screws. I think it's like T25. I want to say it's a T25. It's the star shape, not an Allen. It's a star shape. And after I take out the airbag, I recommend taking the battery off completely first, but because I know that the airbag isn't going to explode on me, I'm going to take off the airbag, undo the battery, and then go from there. But first thing you should do is undo your battery first, or else you're going to be beeping your horn. But as you guys can see, mine doesn't work, so my horn's not going to be going off. But yours is. If your horn works, there's no reason to be doing this. If your horn doesn't work and you already changed the horns in the front, then you do need to do this, because your clock spring is broken. How does your clock spring break? If you get into an accident or whatever and they replace the airbag but they don't replace the clock spring is most likely fucked too. Just saying. So this isn't the easiest of tasks, so I'm not going to be able to record it, but as you guys can see, I am unscrewing this from the top side, and I'm going to do the same on the opposite end. You can't mess this up. There's only the only slot. You don't have to take off the caps. I'm taking off the caps to prepare for what's next. But the caps do need to come off eventually. Not these. Those just keep falling off. But the bottom cap, so you can undo the little screw. And yeah, so right now I have a flashlight because no power. I did undo the battery first because, you know, safety first, whatever. Turn on your lights until you know, the battery's completely drained. Once the battery's completely drained, you can continue. It takes about 15 minutes just to be safe. But if you want an airbag exploding in your face, by all means, you know, you already know. So I'll get back to you guys when I undo this, because this is going to take a minute. Okay, so now that we're in here, you can see the 2 screws, 1, which is up here in the slot, and 2 down there, which is in the other slot. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take off the steering wheel. But what I want to do is I want to remember exactly how this was, or else the steering wheel will not be straight. So you almost kind of want to lock it. Oh, it is locked. Okay. Okay, so now that it's locked, I'll know that right here is where I'm going to tighten it. Right there. So now I'm going to take this sumbitch off with my big guns. We are going to need to take all of this off. And mind you, this process does piss me off, so I will just be brief about it. You take these 3 screws off, and then you're going to be wondering if you want to continue with life afterwards. But actually, no. No, we don't need to do that. I think we only need to take off the screw, and the clock spring is behind all this, so you need to take off your steering wheel. And mind you, it is not the easiest of tasks. Though, you may need to take this off just to feed the cable through. If the cable fits through there, which I'm seeing it probably does not, then you don't need to take any of this stuff off. But considering I've done this once before, I think I remember that I had to do this. I just don't think I recorded it, and that's why I'm redoing the video. So yeah. Take off this guy, yank it. If this guy gets in your way, take off the 3 screws. So I'll get back to you guys. Alright, these are the big guns. So now the screw's off. You'd think, hey, this is pretty easy to take off. No, it's not. And this is mainly why the clock springs break, is when you take this guy off, you almost want to yank it. But since we're replacing the clock spring, you can go ahead and freaking wham on it. But if you're trying to not mess up your clock spring, you want to be soft with this. But basically, you're just going to bang around just to loosen up this guy right here. See that? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mark this just to be extra safe. And that is how I'm going to put the steering wheel back on. I'm going to put a dot here and a dot here. And we're going to call it a day. But it's going back this way. Alright, so here we are. Bang it, bang it, bang it. And lightly pull away. So you don't have to take off any of that stuff to get this guy through. So it fits right through there. And then up and underneath. You do want to go underneath this. I will say that. You do want to go underneath all of that stuff, or it will really, really mess up your horn. Like, you will not be able to stop it, whatever. So that goes onto the airbag. So wherever the airbag goes, that's where you're going to connect it. So you go in through here, through the bottom, and you got it all out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take off all these panels, because the clock spring sits behind here. And I don't know if you guys can hear this guy, but it's spinning freely. You see how the other one locks up? Oh no, it locked up. That's way too many spins, but okay. You get the gist, it's broken. So, you guys can see the paint marks that I left right there and right over here. So I know where that's gonna go. So, that's all the trash that I just took out of my car. Have a wife and kids, guys. So, now we're gonna take the clock spring off by taking these panels off. So what you can do is lower this guy and then lock it into place. And then these guys should come off after you take off this and partial of this, because there are some screws holding this shroud in place, and the shroud won't let it come out. But I'm gonna try to take it off without doing any of that, because I think it's possible. Okay, so I was right. So all you have to take off is these 3 screws at the bottom, which you can see them on this plate. They have 3 holes. You can't mess it up. So let's get those guys off. Get this guy off. Now we have to just disconnect everything. So we're going to disconnect this guy right here. And we're going to disconnect this guy over here. And then that way we can connect our clock spring to this guy. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'm going to leave this open, however, so that if I leave it open, will I be able to close it with the steering wheel on, so that I can test the stereo functions. So before I put everything back together, I am going to have to turn on the power and test that out. But this guy's got to come out. So what I'm seeing is I may need a screwdriver just to take this off, because I'm not sure how I put this guy on there. I don't want to think that it's on their clips, because then I'll break this guy, and this guy. So this is already my replacement one, but the one that I got off of eBay looks like it's brand new. This one looked like it was off of another car used, you know. So yeah, so I'm gonna undo the bigger screws, take off these handle guys right here, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I got a little ahead of myself. I forgot to click record. So there's 1 screw up here, and then the 2 screws that I showed on the sides. Those are what you want to take off. You can kind of see them right here. 1, 2, and 3 back here. This one's going to be hard to get to if you don't take this guy off, but I'm lazy. You don't need to take off any screws. I took off this 1 screw right here inside the back here. You don't have to take it off. I disconnected everything just for ease. But you guys can see older clock spring right here, and we're gonna yeet that out of the car just so I don't mix it up with the new one. And newer clock spring is over here. So now all I have to do is line everything up, and we should be good to go. All right, so the basic tools you need is star shaped Allen, and screwdriver, and a 14. That's what I took off the nut here. So, oh no, the paint. I want to leave that on there because I do not want that to come out. Okay, so I'm going to reverse engineer this, and to take off the clock spring, you actually have to pull really hard. There are no screws holding this guy in place. You have to pull really hard and clip it into place really good. Okay? Okay, so here's where I'm at. So it just clips on. Just clip down here, and then a clip over here. So now I'm getting it calibrated to the very end here because we are twisted all the way right, if you guys remember. Now this, I know it just chills right here somehow, but I think it has a little slot right here that it's kind of missing, like right here, because this is a China version. I don't think it has it. Let me check my other one, see if I was right. No, I think, yeah, see, look, it kind of clips into itself somewhere over here, but it's okay. Yeah, it doesn't have it. It doesn't have it. It's okay. So that's fine. Or does it go over here? Let's see. No, it does not fit there. Okay, so now we're just going to put the steering wheel on. I did put the 3 screws back on over here. 1, 2, 3. So that takes this whole assembly off. If you can buy this whole assembly with this on already, that'll make your life 1,000 times easier. But this just clips on. You just have to be very fucking careful because I already broke my first. That's how I broke that one. And I said fuck it because you know, I had just bought it. So don't do that. Don't do what I do. So now we're getting ready to mount the steering wheel. Just note that this has to feed through the steering wheel for the airbag, and then you do have to connect this inside. If you don't, you're doing this for nothing and nothing will work. Make sure it clips in good, because if it doesn't clip in good, this guy will not work. Okay, so I'm hoping that it does work, because, you know, this is where we're at, and this is the only thing I need left to do. So I'm ready to mount the steering wheel and feed these wires through. So I will get you guys when I feed the wires through, and this is that plug-in that I'm talking about. This guy plugs it to here, and this is where they want that stereo thing to plug into. But when I tell you it's impossible, it's freaking impossible. Like there's no room for it. You know, I wanted to put it down here. It doesn't fit. I tried to like coil it up down here. It doesn't fit because there's other stuff in the way. So yeah, so I already tried doing the whole radio thing, having it back here, in here, and it just doesn't fit. Like, watch. I cut this one off because it's supposed to go right here to there and just coil up like a little ball. But I don't know who measured this or what, but it's too much. Like, it just doesn't fit. No matter how I want to put it, no matter how I want to do this, if I want to push this in, it makes the airbag not want to go on. So they fitted this without an airbag, and that's a mistake. So whenever they fix that, never saw the paddles. They're weird shape from the back. Also, that doesn't work. None of that works. Cruise control, paddles, all that. That's why I'm doing this, for all that. Not really for the steering wheel controls, because I don't care. But these covers, I am going to try to put them on now that the steering wheel's off, because I don't need them off in the first place. But somebody was asking if you can just add the 2 little buttons right here, and you can add the 2 little buttons right here. Almost looks like I'm missing a screw right here, but I never took this off. So, and the 2 little things that I'm talking about, they kind of just like adapt to this guy. So yeah, they will just adapt right here. Okay, so I'm just gonna plug this away. Okay, so we're in. As you guys can see, the steering wheel is still the same way that I had it, all the way to the right. My little paint marks don't actually line up, but I do remember it being this way, so that's how it's gonna be. Yeah, so now what I'm gonna do, since I'm not gonna turn farthest right ever again, I'm going to tuck this underneath, make it go underneath this guy. because it can't go over the top like this, because then it'll be in the way when you beep the horn. So now I have to feed it back, down and around, through the bottom. I just couldn't do it while doing this. All you have to do is pull it through here and push it out this way. Okay? Okay, so just like that, you want to feed it through the bottom, in here, and then the airbag goes on, and then you put the airbag back into place. You don't have to put this back on because you can put it on after the fact. Let me double check that, because if I have to put it on beforehand, I have to take the steering wheel back out and I'm going to be pissed. But I'm pretty sure you don't have to. Do me a favor and put that back on beforehand, because then you're going to have to take off your steering wheel again. Now the screw's back on, torque down, Ugga Dugga style. And you want to tuck this in first, like that. And you want to pull on this wire, and you want to tuck it in sideways, like so, right there. That's where that goes. Right there, tucked away. And then you want to put this back in. And you want to grab your top screw, yes, the top one, put it in first, and then the bottom screw. And then you're done. Then when you turn on your car, your fucking clock spring should work. Rotate it all the way around, rotate it all the way back. Just don't try to yank it anymore, because it looks like it's out at the end of the coil right here. So yeah. I'm going to do that right now, and then I'll turn it on, check it out, and then that's pretty much it. Alright, so you guys want to know how I know that this worked? I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's lighting up now. That guy's lighting up. And, let's see. Oops. See if you guys can see that. No, okay, you can't. Whatever, that's lighting up. And, you know, there's can you hold the light straight, miss? Please? Sorry, had to do it. Okay, let's figure out what's going on. It says something about the steering wheel right now. Sounds smooth. And the horn works again. Look at that. Okay. Now the only thing we need to get rid of is the airbag. Now let's see if my wheels are straight. They're straight as they can get. So the steering wheel's straight. Let's see. Oh, look at that. See that? Oh yeah, steering wheel controls work, baby. Cruise control works. Everything is back on track. Let's go. Let's go. We did it. Hey, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Why are you eating a cable? Where'd you get this from? I don't even know that I had this in here. You had one job, and it was to hold this lamp. That's my baby for y'all, guys. That's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. That is how to install. You want to say bye? Bye. A clock spring on a TSX. I'm gonna turn this off before we die in here. This guy really died on me.